What's up, everybody? It is 3 p.m. Central Time. It is 2 p.m. Eastern. My bad. It is 3 p.m. Eastern Time. It is 2 p.m. Central Time. And it's
He's
time
special.
for Neutral Zone Reaction.
We are ready.
All right, let's get right started.
Breaking news as of today: the Dolphins unaffiliated medical consultant has been.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yikes.
Gone. Tua wowed him out of there.
Yeah, tough time for the Dolphins. We'll talk about them in a little bit. But first, we don't have any new segments today. We're supposed to have Vic on. He's not able to make it, but he'll be here in our next show. So let's just talk some football. I mean, that's what I've been waiting all day long, man. So let's get right to it. First thing, what was your biggest takeaway from week 3 going into week 4?
The Raiders, man.
The Raiders
look bad. They didn't look this way with Gruden, did they?
No, they really didn't. Josh McDaniels it's looking rough for him.
It is. Like, I saw an article of a former when he coached for the Broncos in I believe 2008. Saw an article going there about how the players said he knew the X's and O's, but he wasn't a good player coach.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he's better, he's fixed it, but I don't know, man.
I mean, that offense just looked pitiful the other day.
But the offense, think about the talent the offense has.
They have so many pieces there.
They have arguably the best receiver. They have a top 12 quarterback. They have a top 3 tight end. They have a capable line, I think. They have Hunter Renfrow.
They have a lot of capable. Well, I don't think Renfrow played last week, did he?
True, but still, I mean, with the weapons they have, they should be firing on all cylinders.
True, especially considering how bad the Titans were the first couple of weeks. I really thought the Raiders would have at least shown more heart in that game.
I know, but they had to come from behind and they still lost. It wasn't like they were losing the whole game too.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad.
Well, what do you think is their outlook for? I mean, the rest of the West is not playing as well as everyone in the whole league thought they would.
No, but
you think they're still in it at all?
No, I don't.
Already, it's only week 3. You never know.
It's not because of their record. It's because I don't think the Raiders are going to be good this year. I don't think they're going to. The Raiders have a history of being good early in the season and then shutting off late. If they keep doing that this year, they're not going to win a game. I mean, they look bad on all cylinders. I don't see them getting much better. The Chiefs are going to bounce back. The Broncos are riding to 2-1 somehow. I mean, the Chargers are going to hopefully maybe figure it out. If they don't, that's their problem.
Well, I saw last week there was these in Interstellar, the scene where he's pounding on the wall of his past self.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that, but Devontae Adams saying not to leave the Packers.
Yeah, well, he's got his money, so I think he's okay. He's going from one Hall of Famer to the next, so what can you blame him?
Oh gosh. Yeah, Derek Carr, you think if Derek Carr is still bad at the end of the year.
He's not a Hall of Famer if he retires today. Thank you for your question, Jules.
If Derek Carr's still bad at the end of the year, could they draft a quarterback?
Yeah. I mean,
there's a lot of QBs in this class.
In 2008, when McDaniels got to the Broncos, they drafted Tim Tebow in the first round. It was like that. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think it's out of the question. I don't think it's likely considering they're paying him $40 million a year for the next couple of years, but I don't think it's out of the question.
True. I mean, I could definitely see them going with CJ Stroud, or I don't think they'll get high enough for Bryce Young. Hendon Hooker, maybe that stud quarterback at Tennessee.
Hendon Hooker, what's his grade? Is he a second and third round grade?
I don't know, but he'll be higher up at the end of the year when he wins the Heisman.
Yeah, he's not going to win the Heisman. He'll definitely be higher up. I'm glad you have your faith in Tennessee. What was your biggest takeaway from week 3?
My biggest takeaway, which I never expected to be saying, is the Detroit Lions have a legitimate number 1 cornerback. I never in a million, I don't even know in my whole existence if they have had a legit number 1 corner.
They had Darius Slay for 5 years.
Yeah, but no, I think it was less than 5, and he was all right. He was nothing insane back then.
He was a Pro Bowler every year.
He was all right. He was no Jalen Ramsey. He was nothing.
I think he made the All-Pro once or twice. He was good.
He was good, not great. That's what I'm saying. But Jeff Okudah in the first couple weeks, look at these stats. In the 3 games, He has allowed a total of 7 receptions for 89 yards. Devontae Smith got completely shut out by him. Guy on the middle of the screen today, our featured week one or week featured
Yeah.
scene of the week was Devontae Smith making that crazy catch. Terry McLaurin did like nothing against him, not very much. And then you got Justin Jefferson on the other end of the field, just not able to do anything. Everyone's trading him away. I saw someone trade him away for like almost a bag of chips the other day in fantasy football. I tried to trade for
Justin
Justin.
Jefferson?
Yeah, people are trading
Really?
him left and right because this guy Okuda made him look like a early round bust when I think Justin Jefferson will be just fine. But the Lions actually have a piece on defense this year. What do you think?
I'm not gonna argue. I think he's good.
Not gonna Brady, not
I still
arguing.
think their
What's wrong
defense is
with
an
you?
issue.
Are you sick?
Their defense blew the game against Minnesota. They would have beat Philly if they didn't blow. They would have beat Philly. They have 27 second half points to Carson Wentz last 2 weeks ago. I mean,
So you
Jeff
think he's
Okuda
not a big enough factor yet?
I don't think any corner is a big enough factor when they need two safeties, four linebackers, two defensive linemen, and another corner to complete their defense.
Okay, that's fair.
I think Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's talented. I don't think he's like. I know he's been good, but I've seen him get flushed out by tight ends, running backs. I don't think he's like. He's not the cornerstone. He's not a Nick Bosa. He's not a
Well, he
Joey
was drafted
Bosa.
like a Nick Bosa, that's for sure.
He was drafted like a Nick Bosa. He's not a Max Crosby or a Nick Bosa or any of those. I don't think he's a staple defensive end. I think he's an above average player. I think he'll be good, but I don't think he's one of those franchise turning players.
Okay, what you think? Do you think Okuda could be a franchise cornerstone for them
Yeah, I do.
if they pay him? I mean, it's 3 games, but it's
Three
3 games.
but like
At the same time, overreaction or not an overreaction. It's like those ESPN shows.
it is. I think you're slightly overreacting, but I don't think you're wrong.
Okay,
We'll put it that way.
in the chat we're seeing he's a rookie though. He's like he's played his rookie year
This
and
is his
sucked
third
and
year.
then had an injury year. I mean,
He sucked his first year, tore his Achilles, I believe, last year. And
yeah,
now
I
he's
wouldn't
back.
say he's a rookie. I'd say he's a developing star at
He's
the
a
moment.
developing player.
They just got to pay him because the Lions have not had a good corner since before Slay. Before Slay was a good corner, you're right. But before
They
that,
turned lane.
before Darius Slay, can you name any good cornerbacks for them in the past in my entire lifetime?
Has Barry Sanders ever lined up at corner? Megatron played safety for them a few times.
Who?
Megatron.
You're right.
That's all I
Megatron
can
did play.
think of.
He's got those out of position Madden cards every Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a beast at safety in Madden. So
Yeah.
that's probably their best corner in the last half century besides Darius Slay.
Well, sticking with the NFC North real quick, our boy Khalil Herbert on the screen right now.
Yeah.
He was running wild.
The Bears' O-line was running wild, too. They had I could have ran for 100 yards against the Texans, I think, that game. They were just wide open holes, gaping.
Yes,
They look good on the ground. I mean, I know Fields looks like a high school quarterback right now, but if he's even half decent, this offense is going to be humming. Like, nobody's stopped their run game.
You think the Giants have any shot at Andrew Spagnuolo?
I think they have a shot with Fields. I don't know if they have a shot at shutting down the run game. I mean, Herbert's averaging he averaged 5 yards a carry in Nagy's offense, I believe, last year. I think he averaged like 7.5 carries against 7.5 yards a carry against the Texans.
Well, I was saying all week before the game.
High school numbers.
I was saying all week before the Bears game that we were going to win that game because of our run game. And sure enough, we put up like 263 rushing yards or something like that. And just running all over them. Yeah. And I'm like, yup, that's what the Bears offense is going to be. And that's how we're going to win games against these bad teams. If you make us throw the ball, if they put us against a good opponent and we have to throw the ball, it might not go so well.
If you can keep it low scoring, keep it defensive, and just keep the ball on the ground, like
man, those guys got
a little bit Eagles the Bears remind me a little bit of the Eagles last year. Just how Jalen Hurts wasn't a polished thrower, neither is Fields right now, and they would just pound it. Run. And they could run the ball effectively, had a decent defense, and they'd beat bad teams. So they'd win some of these close games against these lower level teams.
And now the Eagles are real good.
I'm not saying the Bears are going to win 9 games or be top team in the NFC next year, but I'm saying they can win games through this method of running the ball.
Oh, absolutely. The Ravens used to do the same thing, and they still occasionally do. We can talk about the Ravens a little later, but let's go back to the Eagles real quick. I think right now they're the front runner in the NFC. Is that crazy to say, or do you have any different team?
Who else is going to? I mean, I don't know who else is going to come close to them. The Bucs' offense is a shell of its former self. Rodgers can't throw the ball.
Hold the phone there. I think the Bucs offense thing is a big overreaction, personally.
Really, I hope it is. I have Lenny in fantasy, but
well, here's the deal: Mike Evans suspended, Chris Godwin's been hurt, Julio was out.
What about against the Saints? They looked bad. The Cowboys,
they always play bad against the Saints. When is the last time the Bucs played a good game against the Saints in the regular season? They don't.
What about the Cowboys? They looked bad against Cowboys.
The Cowboys have a good defense, and Tom Brady had been out of the facility the whole offseason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not concerned about them, just like I wasn't concerned about the Bengals. We were talking last week, I think, about how the Bengals were really up and down. I said, Bengals, Joe Shiesty, he'll be just fine. And Joe Shiesty is back. So I'm not worried about the Bucs. I think Tom Brady, I mean, are you really going to doubt Tom Brady?
No.
See, there we go. We've got a fan question real quick.
He was abused, so.
We've got a fan question real quick.
Yeah.
How many, from Jake Rosinski, how many wins for the Panthers this year?
They are favored against the Cardinals this week. Are they 1-2 right now? 0-3? 1-2?
No, they're 1-2. They beat the Saints, but they always play well against the Saints. I feel like.
Give them
I don't know.
I think 6. I think they should fire Matt Rule yesterday.
Well, they can't fire him after a win, but
yeah, they can. It's not that hard. But
I mean, the Bears fired Lovie Smith after a 10-6 season.
Yeah, like how the Bears would do that, then proceed to not have a winning season for like a decade.
Exactly. That's how we work.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they maybe get rid of him. I mean, Baker's not a long-term answer at quarterback in my opinion right now. They're just meh.
Well, I think the Panthers split the divisional games. They're going to lose 2 against the Bucs. Actually,
no.
Maybe 2-4. Maybe 2-4 against the division.
Because they're going to split the Saints and the Falcons.
They'll split Saints and Falcons.
So I think there's 2 there. You'll win a few out of division games.
A couple. I agree. 5 or 6 wins. I hate to say it, Jake, but I don't see anything in the Panthers this year.
I'm right. They're not going to win a lot of games.
McCaffrey hasn't looked like crazy either.
McCaffrey touches a paperclip and he's out for a week. I mean, like, he's had 4 different injuries in like 2 weeks, and they've all been minor. He even joked that he gets paper clips in the morning or something, whatever that clip was.
Yeah, he's like always on the injury report every single time.
Dude, Carolina is like paper, bro. It's bad.
I mean, speaking of Matt Rule real quick, he was Baylor's coach, right?
Yeah.
I was watching the TCU versus Oklahoma game before this.
And TCU was shredding them.
Yeah, but in the middle of the game, RG3 is like and such an out-of-pocket commentator this year. Like, he's just saying these crazy things. In the middle of the game, the refs are like making bad calls, and he goes, "Looks like these refs are seeing ghosts." Sam Darnold?
That's what happens when you have Matt Rule as your play caller.
Yeah. I mean, we've got another question. Who wins the AFC North? You got an answer for me?
The Ravens.
Yeah, I thought you'd say this. I thought you'd say so.
They're the best team. I mean,
like Lamar Lover himself.
I like the Bengals, but they're iffy right now. They haven't played well against great teams yet. I mean, they played decent against the Dolphins, but that was a short week against the Dolphins with uncertainty at quarterback. That's tough for them. Mitch, that's all I'm going to say for the Steelers. And the Browns, who knows what's happening with the Browns? They're probably going to sign AB after
the Browns is the Browns.
I know. I think they're looking to sign an AB now after that recent incident at the hotel. So.
Oh, yeah. AB over here. What you doing, AB?
I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, the Browns are a mess right now. I wouldn't touch them to win the division. I think they're a wild card team at best.
I'm gonna go. I still feel like it could be the Bengals.
It could be the Bengals. I'm not saying you're wrong, but you're
I'm
wrong.
gonna still
But I'm not
pick
going
the
to just blame you.
Bengals. I think that
No.
they at some point will figure out how to protect Joe Burrow. At
Of
some
course they're going to
point,
figure it out, but why is that going to make them better than the Ravens?
they beat the Ravens last year. I don't
Yeah,
think the
last
Ravens
year
are a
doesn't
threat to
matter,
them.
dude. Why does last year matter?
I don't think
Last year Matt Nagy was an NFL head coach. You think that matters right now?
the
Like, come on.
Ravens they're not going to pull it together enough.
Why aren't they going to pull it together? They pulled it
Because
together
they
all
keep getting
season.
beat in close games. The Bills this week are going to come back
Really?
and beat the Ravens.
Okay, so the Ravens lose to the best team in the league. Now they're not going to win their own division.
They just have a tough. I don't see them winning the big toss up games.
Don't say they have a tough schedule. You don't know who do they play after the Bills.
I don't know.
You have no clue. You have no base on your claims right now.
Okay.
You're a Lamar Jackson hater because you cannot accept that he does not look like an NFL quarterback.
I'm not a Lamar hater. I just don't think he's freaking insane like you.
You are such a Lamar hater. Just because he throws a sidearm and runs around does not mean he's not a good quarterback. Okay, I'm done with this. Okay, Ravens winning the NFC North. Let's go to this week in Vegas.
Okay, this week. Oh, early. Okay. Welcome back. Oh shoot, I forgot to put you on this slide. That's embarrassing. Hold on 1 sec. I'll get you in there. Yeah, I know. Oh, wait. Sorry, folks. We're putting him in there.
That's embarrassing for Jules. That is sad.
I don't even know if they could hear you just now.
Well, now they can. That was embarrassing for Jules. Yikes.
Okay, we're
Everyone
back.
Watching. You guys got to find new friends. Oh, my God. Okay. So let's hear your terrible take number one. Mr. 2-6-1.
Oh, yeah. It's tough sledding over here.
It's always tough sledding for Jules.
All right, you want me to go first?
Sure.
I think the Vikings -3 is a very good bet this week.
Against the Vikings suck
in London.
I would not trust Kirk Cousins against the Saints in London.
Kirk Cousins' one playoff win is against the Saints. So stop. Okay, put a little pause on that.
It's Kirk Cousins, number one. 2, it's in London. Throws everything off. 3, it's the Saints who beat good teams for some reason.
That is so whack. That is ridiculous.
The Saints Vikings is always
interesting. There's no way you're using That's no way a logical answer.
Who cares?
Number 2, it's in London. That throws things off.
Don't use logic.
You could say the exact same thing about the Saints.
Yeah, so I wouldn't bet on the game. I wouldn't touch that game. What are you thinking?
I would touch that game. The Vikings are
you're gonna lose based on your record. So
the Saints are so banged up. Michael Thomas is out, right? Jameis Winston is questionable.
Okay, Andy Dalton's probably a better starting quarterback right now than Jameis Winston.
No, yeah. Andy Dalton's starting. Jameis isn't questionable. He's out.
Yeah, Andy Dalton's fine. He scored touchdowns on the Bears offense. That's saying something. So
I don't think he's going to be that good in London against Kirk. There's this whole in London thing that you've got. It's still a football game.
Yeah, of course.
And the Vikings are putting out a much better team on the field on Sunday, tomorrow morning, than the Saints will be.
Oh my God, it's tomorrow morning. That's hilarious. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I don't agree, but you're delusional. I have to accept that. Okay.
Yeah, well, would you take Saints +3? I don't care if it's one of your picks or not this week. Would you be taking Saints +3?
No.
Okay, my point proven. What's your first pick? I can't wait to see that number go from 2-6-1 to 3-6-1 after that game. Going into the noon games tomorrow.
3-8-1 next week. It's gonna look good, Jules. I got the Texans +5.5.
The Texans +5.5 against the Chargers, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, Herbert's hurt. I don't think Staley has a clue what he's doing. I'm gonna be honest. That's in my hot take later. I'll get to that later. Ooh. I think the Chargers. I don't think the Chargers are looking good right now. I think Herbert's their. I
don't think you're looking good right now.
Everyone on the Chargers is hurt. The Texans play close games. They played the Broncos tough. They played the Bears tough, even though it's the Bears. Who they play week 1? They played the Colts.
The Texans. They played the Colts. They tied.
The Texans have a good defense for the most part. They got a capable quarterback. I think the Texans are gonna I think the Texans surprise people, and they're a good 0-2. They're good for an 0-2-1 team. I think they're gonna keep it close against the Chargers. So I think that's an upset potential, and I think 5.5 is way too many points to give the Chargers.
Do you remember what happened last year, Brady, when the Texans played the Chargers?
Yeah, the Texans won the game.
The Texans obliterated them.
Yeah.
The Texans did to the Chargers exactly what
Wait, are you
the
agreeing with me?
Jaguars did to the Chargers last week. And if
If
you
you're agreeing
think,
with me, I can't bet on
and
it.
if you think for 1 second that Justin Herbert is going to let that massacre happen again,
My God, he does not agree with me. Okay, we're safe, folks. We are safe.
there is no
Jules does
way.
not agree with my
There is
picks.
no way that
Thank
Justin
goodness.
Herbert is going to let that team get smashed by a horrible AFC South team again.
I'm literally putting.
It's not happening.
I'm literally gonna put money on that now. Okay, thank you, Jules.
Okay, good to know.
You are literally the worst bet I've ever seen. Okay, what's your next?
I do think the 5.5 is a little generous, but there is no way on earth that the Chargers are going to lose that game. No shot Herbert lets them lose 2 times in a row to a horrible AFC South team. It's just not going to happen.
So what's your next take?
My next Vegas pick?
Yeah.
It's the Cardinals +1, which you'll be mad about since I think you've got something similar. I know you were talking about the Panthers somehow being favored, right?
Yeah, I don't know how they're favored. I'm gonna be honest.
Is that one of your
The
picks?
Cardinals are gonna win that game. That's a good pick.
Is that one of your picks?
No, because I don't trust the Cardinals as far as I can
Wow.
tell Kyler Murray's 5'10" frame.
Okay,
But-
well, I'm sticking with the Cardinals this time.
All right. My next pick. Wait, who did the Browns play again?
The Browns play
I did not write this
at the
down.
Falcons.
Right. Yeah, Browns -1. That's lock. I mean, like the Falcons don't win games against good teams. I don't think they're not.
Are the
gonna
Browns
win.
a good team?
They're better than the Falcons.
Are the Browns a good team?
And one is a money -1 means money line.
You said the Falcons don't beat good teams. Are the Browns a good team?
Yeah, right now they're a good team. They're not a great team. They're a good
They're
team.
not a good team. They're a
They
meh
are a good
team. Until
They're a
Deshaun
good
Watson
team.
is back and Myles Garrett is out with a car crash this week.
But Myles Garrett is out, but they still have Jadeveon Clowney. They have other weapons. They were without Jadeveon Clowney against the Steelers last week.
But they're not a
And I
good
moved
team.
Myles Garrett, and they were
They're
fine.
a
They got
very
some
average, if not meh team right now.
Yeah, and the Falcons are bad.
Oh,
The
they
Falcons
are.
squeaked out a win
The
against
Falcons
the
are
the
bad.
Falcons squeaked out a win against the Seahawks last week. This game is an easy win for the Browns, I think, and I don't think the Falcons.
They are away too.
What?
Browns are away though.
I don't
If
care.
that has any.
I don't care. That's in a dome. That's
contribution.
favorable for offense. I think Mariota's fun. He's a good. He's decent. But the Browns have too many weapons on offense. They're going to outpace the Falcons. I don't think it's going to be I think it'll be close-ish. I think the Browns win this game one way or another. The Falcons have a way of losing games, and this is basically a money line pick.
Okay, fair enough. All right, last pick of this week in Vegas. I've got the Packers by 9.5 on.
That's tough. Is Mac Jones out or questionable?
He's out. Brian Hoyer is starting.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I can never like your picks.
Boo, because the Packers. But yeah, because you agree with me for.
You're always
Okay.
wrong. That's the problem. So it's hard to agree. But I don't know. Brian Hoyer sucks. But at the same time, the Packers don't score in the second half. They have 7 second half points the whole entire year, or maybe 10. They have 10, I think. The Packers just don't score in the second half because Rodgers doesn't trust his receivers off script when it's not designed plays to them. So I don't love it.
The
I think
Bucks
it'll
are
be.
also a much better defense than.
I think the Packers win the game easily. Do they win by 10? It's not something I put my money on.
Okay, what's your pick?
Chiefs +1. Mahomes
against?
is going to be pissed. The Bucks
Against the
offense
Bucks?
can't seem to get going.
Against
Chris
the
Jones is
Bucks.
gonna be-
Wow.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs win that game easily. I think they win by at least a touchdown.
Really? I mean, both teams are coming off a tough loss.
Yeah, and Patrick Mahomes is going to come out firing, and Tom Brady is going to come out with a cane. So, I think Patrick Mahomes just ball. I think Patrick Mahomes comes out pissed. He balls out, and they win that game easily.
If you're saying you don't want to touch the Saints Vikings, I don't want to touch the Bucks Chiefs game.
And I don't
First
want to
off,
touch
it's-
anything you touch in terms of betting, so I don't see the issue here.
First off, it's a toss-up game. But second off, prayers up to the hurricane victims, but Tampa Bay is going to have something to play for.
And they're going to be distracted by everything
They are
going
struggling
on.
out there in Florida, and
That's
that
about
Buccaneers team is going to
distractions for
come
Tampa.
out
Chiefs
and
will
ready
have-
to play. Do you remember the Saints against the Falcons after Hurricane Katrina?
That was Hurricane Katrina. That destroyed a city. This is just
This hurricane destroyed the whole southwestern Florida.
It didn't destroy Tampa. Tampa's Northern Florida. What are you talking about?
It destroyed like everything under Tampa.
Tampa is like
The Bucks are gonna
right
come
up
ready to
there.
play. What do you do? Looking at pointing at your little map back there.
I gotta correct you sometimes. You get off the rails.
Alrighty. Well, that's this week in Vegas. Let's move on to hot take hour because we've got some hot takes this week. I have a very hot take that.
Let's hear. You want to hear it first? You want
But
to?
I want to hear your. I want to hear yours first.
Mine's kind of a double.
Okay, go
I
for
think
it.
that by the end of the season, I think both Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray are going to be on the hot seat in Arizona by the end of the season.
Cliff and Kyler.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle, they just paid him $240 million.
I don't like Kyler. I don't think he's that good.
I don't either. But they can't, the management can't do that.
Why not?
Because then it's their jobs on the line.
I don't know. I think there's going to be questions around Kyler. I don't think Kyler's that good. I think they're going to be
I agree with that. But
I think they're going to be a sub 500 team this year with that division. I think they're going to end up a sub 500 team. And I think Cliff's going to be either gone or close to gone. And I think that Kyler is going to have questions surrounding him.
Cliff could be on the hot seat, but there is zero chance that Kyler's on the hot seat because the management just decided to give him the franchise.
I think to follow that up, I think it's the same situation with what's his name, Brandon Staley. I think if the Chargers miss the playoffs this year, I think he might be gone.
Oh, I agree. But you wouldn't say the same about Herbert.
No, because Herbert's a stud.
Yeah, but they haven't even paid Herbert yet.
No,
the Cardinals have already devoted $240 million to Kyler Murray. And I think most of it's guaranteed, right?
Yeah, but Kyler, yes. But
so it doesn't matter if Kyler's good or bad. They've committed to him already. He can't be on the hot seat this year. They've committed to him as bad. He could play horrible. He could play great.
They can look for a trade for Kyler. I don't see why that's so unobtainable.
No one is going to trade for Kyler.
I would not trade for Kyler.
Because I'm not paying $240 million for a subpar for an average quarterback.
So why would the Cardinals want to keep him around then? I don't see what your argument is.
Ask the GM who paid him that much.
Yeah, and the GM's going to be – if the GM's gone, GM leaves.
GM's not leaving.
He paid a mid-quarterback $240 million. That's just athletic. What if GM gets fired?
Even if the GM gets fired, if the GM gets fired, the whole thing could blow up. But the Cardinals have devoted so much money to this man. I mean, I don't think you understand how the business part of football works.
I do understand how the business part of football works. I understand that this current GM cannot just flush Kyler after the season. But if Cliff gets booted, what's the chances the GM doesn't get booted in a year or two or this year? Then a new GM, you think a new GM is going to want to start with Kyler Murray, $60 million a year on their salary or $45?
It's not what they want to do. It's what they have to do. It's guaranteed money.
Yeah,
and they're not going to find a trade partner for him.
If they could flush that sooner by getting rid of him, don't you think the new resume is going to do that?
Wait, say that again?
Okay. New GM next year in Arizona. You think they're not going to try to flush Kyler's contract the best they can by getting rid of him?
I don't think they're getting rid of him, no. I don't think they're getting rid of him for at least 3 years.
I don't. I think they're going to look into options. I think it's similar to the Seattle Russell Wilson situation, but Russell Wilson's better than Kyler was.
Yeah, and Russell's older. Kyler's like 26, 25. Yeah. He's not that old. But on the Kyler topic, though, before we get to my hot take, I was just going to say one of my takeaways from last week was Hollywood Brown. He was electric. He had, 14 catches for 140 yards?
Yeah.
I mean, it was like they're back in the Oklahoma days. Everything we thought we'd see from Derek Carr to Devontae Adams this year, they had their one good game. But, I mean, Hollywood just did that last week. Just wait till Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow start clicking again. It'll be the whole college to NFL deal all over again.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, Hollywood was crazy this week. We'll see how he does the rest of the season, but that was wild.
Yeah. All right, let's hear your hot take.
All right. It's flaming hot.
Yeah.
You might have a little.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was a great time. Yeah, what's up? What can I do for you? All right, let's hear it.
I don't think Bill Belichick will have a single winning season before he retires.
Okay.
Really? That's all?
He's going to retire in like 3 years probably, and I don't think the Patriots are going to have a winning season in 3 years. So, yeah.
Wow, I did not expect that from you. I thought you were gonna go crazy. I told one of my friends this hot take last night, and they were like, they were kind of stunned by it. I don't see I don't see that Patriots team getting over 500.
I don't either. The Patriots aren't going to get. The Patriots are going to be under 500 this year. They're going to keep Mac Jones at least 2 more years after this one.
Exactly.
They can't flush him. They're going to be under 500 those years. And 74-year-old Bill Belichick isn't going to want to restart with a new quarterback, so he'll probably retire.
You think he'll pass the reins to Steve Belichick?
I really hope so, for the sake of every other franchise in the NFL.
Oh,
no.
That's not nice.
Well, not to be nice. It's a podcast. But I don't know. I kind of agree with that.
Wow.
But I'm glad your take is flaming hot for you at least.
I mean, I just feel like a lot of people hear Bill Belichick's name and just think, yeah, there's no way he'll not keep winning. But in that division, I mean, the Jets have pieces.
Miami's humming right now besides their medical training staff.
You look at every team, the Jets have pieces. They've got young guys. I mean, Garrett Wilson, we talked about him last week. He's a stud. Jets have guys. The Bills, of course, going to go to the Super Bowl this year. I don't care if they lost to the Dolphins. They're still going to the Super Bowl. Dolphins are really good. I feel horrible for what happened. I think it's going to change the NFL forever, to be honest. I think they're going to take their concussion stuff way more seriously. And that,
I agree.
I mean, first off, the first thing I think that might happen is they will not let a player back into the game regardless. Like, if you're taken into the concussion tent, done for at least 2 quarters minimum. I would say that's going to be a rule that the NFL
I heard
will
this
make.
on the Herd, with Colin Cowherd, and there was a rule he had proposed. It's the wobble rule. If a player ever gets up and they stumble, they wobble, they don't look right, getting up just from a physical viewpoint from a fan, they're done.
Yeah, but that's too up to discretion. I mean, it's a good idea, but you can't just say like, oh, well, do you think he's good? Do you think he's not? It's just got to be, if they get into the protocol, 2 quarters minimum.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Tua went back out after halftime in that Bills game is absurd.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's no shot it should have been. There's no shot it should have been allowed.
No, he should have played there. He shouldn't be able to play Thursday. It's absurd.
Yeah, it's ridiculousness. All right, let's go back. Let's go to CenturyLink now. Couple last things for the week. Just a couple extras. Vic's picks. He wasn't able to join us this week, but he did tell me which teams he would pick out of the 3 games I gave him this week. For the Titans, do we remember how he did last week? He got the Rams right. He got the Broncos right.
He got the
and
Packers
we both
right
picked.
Too.
He got the Packers right too. So that's 3. Do you remember the last game? I know we got the 49ers wrong, of course.
Of course we did.
Yeah, there was one other game that he picked different. Well, we picked the Bucs and he picked the Packers. I don't remember the last one. It is what it is. He did well. So let's see how he does this week. This week, Vic has the Colts over the Titans in Indianapolis. It's game 1. You agree? Disagree? I know it's a real thinker for that one.
No, I like the Titans there, but it could go either way.
It really could go either way. If Pittman's back, I'm gonna go with the Colts because I think Shaq Leonard finally plays this week. If Shaq Leonard doesn't play, it would be the Titans. So we'll see with that. I'll go the Colts and side with Vic for this one. Second game, Chiefs at Bucks. He picked the Chiefs. I know you picked the Chiefs. I'm going to pick the Buccaneers.
Okay, well, it's looking good for the Chiefs. Okay, next topic. Next question.
And then the final game, Browns at the Falcons. He said on the phone when I called him, and he said, now that's a tough one. And he thought about it for a second. but he eventually picked the Browns. You're taking the Browns too.
Well, of course, that was one
I'm
of my
gonna
picks.
take.
Please take the Falcons. Please take the Falcons. Please take the Falcons. Please take the
I'm gonna
Falcons.
take
Please
the
take the Falcons.
Browns. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna take the Browns because
Oh, there was so much
their
potential.
their rushing game is really good, and I think they'll beat the Falcons just the way the Bears beat the Texans last week. So that's Vic's picks for this week. Couple last things that I wanted to bring up. First off, I see an early trade candidate already for midseason. Devontae Parker went off this week. He had 5 catches for 156 yards. That is an average of
26.
Yeah, you do the math. You're in high school still.
26.2 yards a catch. That's insane.
Did you just make that up or just?
No, I'm dead serious.
Yeah, that's a lot of yards per catch. That's a lot. If he gets 100 yards in one more game before the trade deadline, I think he's gone. I think he's off the team. Some
Really?
contender is going to give him.
Why?
Because
they
some
keep that weapon for
contender,
Mac Jones?
the Patriots will fall out of contention by then.
Yeah, but don't you think they need that weapon for Mac Jones for future years?
He's not. He doesn't have a. I don't think he has a long-term contract. Let me look it up real quick. Devontae Parker.
Think about how much they paid Hunter Henry and like those guys. You think they wouldn't be willing to pay him some?
They just picked up Parker this year.
Yeah, and they'll be willing to extend him.
I think he only has 1 year left after this.
Really?
Devontae
Okay.
Parker. That was a trade with the Dolphins. So I would not at all be surprised. I think if he gets one more 100-yard receiving game, where did you go? Oh, he is just gone. What? Brady, where you at? Okay, well, Brady has seemingly disappeared. So that's where we're going to let's see what he has on the phone. Yeah, what's up?
The laptop died.
Laptop died. How fun. All right. Well, anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this week. And we will see you all later. We are actually having a Monday Night Football episode in 2 days from now.